Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play 428 Shibuya Scramble. Last time, Kano was able to stop Alphard, as well as attempt to take care of a bomb that was found to be on Alphard's body that would be used to wipe out a portion of Shibuya. Achi also assisted with that. Jack, Stanley, was able to catch the real Alphard, Kanan. Tatano assisted. Asshole, you're still an asshole. Maria didn't do anything, like she was still out cold. Osawa, he was able to get Maria into the lab thanks to the password that Kano was able to get from Alphard. And Minorikawa got his interview. Today, we go to the epilogue. Kanan's friend. She felt a hand firmly clutching her own as she hazily returned to consciousness. This hand. Whose is it? My father's? Maria's eyelids slowly drifted open. Maria, you're all right now. Her father was indeed beside her, holding her hand. Surprising warmth radiated from his slender, bony palm. Dad? She was lying on a sofa. She craned her neck to look around, still trying to process what was going on. There were several monitors set up around the room. Where are we? At my laboratory. You were infected with a virus, but I've got you the antiviral. You don't have anything to worry about. He squeezed Maria's hand even more tightly. That hurts. Right, sorry. Osawa eased up the pressure on his daughter's hand, but he didn't let go entirely. This feels so strange, Maria muttered, staring up at the ceiling. I wonder why. What does? Having you hold my hand. I used to hold your hand like this when we'd go on walks together, when you were little. Doubt you remember that, though. Maria considered. It was true, she didn't have any clear memory of her father holding her hand like this, and yet the touch of her father's palm felt distantly familiar. Gently, she squeezed back. It's been a while, hasn't it? She said. I mean, me looking you in the eye while I'm talking to you? It's only because I didn't look you in the eye. Osawa hung his head. I'm so sorry, he said. Please forgive me. I never meant to hurt you like I did. Wait, hold on. Maria was taken aback. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, hurt me? Back on that rainy day. Osawa told Maria about the day she'd run away from home. About how he'd known where she had gone but hadn't gone to find her. About how he had given in to his anger and struck her once she came back home. When he'd finished, he hung his head once more. I'm so sorry. I've been such a terrible father. Maria cracked an impish smile. Oh yeah, I guess that did happen. Osawa frowned. You know, she said, I'd totally forgotten about that. Until you mentioned it just now, I mean. No, I can't believe that, Osawa replied. The way I hurt you, He sounded so disappointed in himself. Dad, it's not like I can let myself dwell on each and every detail of my childhood. I mean, in the 19 or so years I've been alive, I've been hurt in lots of different ways. A child experienced so much more than what her parents knew. Ain't that the damn truth? This is what growing up was all about. It was a happy thing, but also a little bit sad. Osawa was visibly grappling with his feelings. I see, he said. I guess you have gone through much pain. Well, yeah, but there have been more things that were fun and happy. I see. It's the sum of all those things that have made me who I am today. So please don't worry so much about the past. I see. Dad, you keep saying I see. Stop it. Sorry. It's just... This is also difficult to say. Osawa was trying and failing to hold back his tears. Maria wasn't quite sure what those tears were for, but she felt a prickle of embarrassment. Shyly, she looked away, and her eyes alighted on one of the monitors. The screen showed a view from outside the lab. Who are those people? She asked, pointing. Osawa looked, and his eyes widened in shock. 3 people with guns were facing off with one another. Maria recognized one of them. Tatano, the man with the cane. Why are those two pointing guns at your... why are those two pointing guns at your friend? Osawa's voice was shaking. My friend? What do you mean? The one you met when we went to the Middle East. You know. Kanan. Osawa switched the monitor to show a different camera angle. A close-up of the young woman's face appeared on screen. Maria was at a loss for words. That certainly wasn't Kanan. It was the girl who'd come to tell Maria that Hitomi was going to be kidnapped. Kanan's friend. Oh, shit. It had happened 3 days earlier. While Maria was on her way home from campus, a girl approached her, telling her she was a friend of Kanan. Kanan asked me to pass along a message, she said. Then she showed Maria a video recording. The video quality was quite poor and the voice indistinct. There's a terrorist who's after the antiviral agent your father is developing. Maria listened in shock as the message continued. The terrorist plan was already in motion and Hitomi... was already in motion, and Hitomi had been infected with a killer virus. Your father used the antiviral to save Hitomi, but the terrorists planned on that. I'll spare you the details, but there's a way to extract the antiviral from Hitomi's blood. Stealing the drug from the laboratory directly is too problematic. The terrorist intends to get it directly from your sister. Hitomi is certain to be kidnapped sometime in the next few days. And so I have something to ask you. I'd like you to get kidnapped in her place. Since you're twins, it should be possible for you to trade places without the kidnappers realizing it. I gave the girl who's passing along this message a necklace outfitted with a small GPS beacon. Make sure you wear the necklace. Switch it on and it'll allow me to keep tabs on your location. I promise I'll come and rescue you. Please help me. This is the only way we can keep the antiviral and Hitomi safe. The video ended, and the girl handed Maria a necklace with an ornate pendant and showed her the hidden switch on the back. Kanan's coming to Japan? Maria asked. She's already here. She's ready to risk her life for this mission. Risk her life? Maria started uneasily. So, this terrorist who's after the antiviral drug, is it Alphard? The girl looked shocked. You know about Alphard. Kanan told me that taking down Alphard is her purpose in life. But Alphard has ties to the CIA, so it's hard for Kanan to get any good leads. That's true. Which reminds me, you should have this. The girl held out a photograph. This man is dangerous. Stay away from him. He's an ally of Alphard. Maria did her best to burn the man's image into her mind. Alright, the girl said. I've passed along everything Kanan wanted me to tell you. What you do next is up to you. So was it the long con? Or she was spying on them way back when? Like when they were visiting the Middle East? So wait, what the heck has been going on while I've been asleep? Osawa recoiled from the ferocity on his daughter's face. That Kanan girl thought of a way to save you. He went on to explain the plan to get the antiviral out of the locked down laboratory. Once again, Maria stared at the monitor. As she eyed Kanan's friend, another memory from before she blacked out drifted to the surface. Oh, dang. Suddenly it dawned on Maria what this girl was planning. She pretended to be Kanan in order to get into the lab, she said, scowling at the image on the monitor. Osawa looked at the screen and then at his daughter's face. Well then who in the world is she? Maria already had the answer. There was no doubt about it. That girl was Alphard. The instant she realized this, she knew they were in danger. If Alphard managed to infiltrate the lab, there was no way she'd be satisfied with simply getting her hands on the antiviral. She sowed ruin everywhere she went. Is something wrong? Osawa asked uneasily. Maria, what is it? Maria's mind was racing. She spoke her thoughts out loud. She's going to kill you so the drug can't be recreated. No, that's not thorough enough. She's going to destroy this whole facility. But how? Vague possibilities tumbled through her mind, but she couldn't be sure what the terrorists might be planning. She gritted her teeth in frustration. Don't worry, Osawa said. I don't know who that girl is, but right now she's outside the lab. There's no way she can kill me or plant a bomb in here or anything. Yeah, I know. Maria gave a tiny nod, but something gnawed at the back of her mind. Oh! There's C4 in the necklace? Make sure you wear the necklace. Hurriedly, Maria took hold of the pendant that hung around her neck. That explains that explosion and the... Yo! Okay. As soon as she did, she felt a chill run up her spine. That bad end, that's how it happened. That's how the place blew up. Okay. Alright, alright. She went back over the details of Alphard's plan as her father had explained it. And then finally she understood. I've got it. Osawa straightened up. You've got what? I need to get out there where those three are. Don't be absurd. I have to go. Osawa peered closely at his daughter's face. Words weren't going to stop her, and as he realized that, his own face stiffened with determination. Alright, but I'm going with you. I can't let you rush into danger all by yourself. Thank you, Dad. Maria tried to get up from the sofa, but she was struck by a wave of vertigo, and her knees buckled. Are you alright? Osawa caught her by the arm. This is probably a side effect of the antiviral. You shouldn't push yourself too much. Maria looked up at her father's anxious face and shook her head. Don't worry, I'll be okay. Her body was weak with lethargy, her mind trapped in a disorienting haze. Every step was a monumental effort, but she clenched her jaw and forced herself onward, making her way down the laboratory hallway. A whirlwind of anger and sadness spurred her onward. Alphard was masquerading as Kanan. The cruel truth was all too clear. The terrorist would never have been able to get away with the deception if Kanan were still alive. Which means that Kanan must be... Maria fought to hold back her tears. It was too early to cry just yet. That could wait until after she'd put a stop to Alphard's plan. Using her rage to suppress her sorrow, she shoved open the door in front of her. That isn't Kanan! Maria's voice exploded into the silence of the standoff. I think they already know. I doubt we're getting better testimony than that, Stanley said, his gun still at the ready. There's no talking your way out of things this time. The expression on Alphard's face didn't change. She stood still, a mannequin without a soul. What did you do to Kanan? Maria demanded, marching unsteadily toward the terrorist. Maria, stay back, Osawa exclaimed. She ignored him. Hey, don't get any closer, Tajno barked. He looked exhausted, on the verge of collapse. Answer me, Maria cried, still advancing. What happened to Kanan? But still Alphard said nothing. Stanley, too, began edging toward her. It doesn't matter what you ask, he said. She won't tell you anything. Bit by bit, he inched closer. He was going to try to take her down. Let me turn your question around, Alphard said abruptly. What do you think? Maria paused, confused. What do I think about what? What do you think happened to Kanan? The corners of her lips twisted up, shaping a mirthless smile. You killed her, didn't you? Maria's words came out as a whisper. What was that? I couldn't quite hear you. You killed Kanan, didn't you? This time Maria cried out with biting fury. Alphard snickered. She's provoking me, Maria thought, forcing herself to swallow her rage. She couldn't let herself get caught up in Alphard's game or her anger would spill out of control. Why are you laughing? By force of will, Maria made her voice firm and steady. Because I'm guessing you weren't expecting me to show up here. Alphard raised an eyebrow ever so slightly. This thing here, it's a bomb, isn't it? Maria held out the necklace. What? Stanley furrowed his brow. Ah, of course. Even if we managed to catch you here, you'd still be able to destroy the lab. Still, the smile remained on Alphard's face. She seemed to enjoy watching the others figure out her intentions. But you can't trigger the bomb with me standing this close to you, can you? Maria locked eyes with Alphard. Unless you're prepared to sacrifice yourself. She stood like an image of bravery, while on the inside her apprehension threatened to tear her apart. She could feel her heart thudding so furiously that she thought it might explode. Cold sweat trickled down her spine. Only her rage at Kanan's murder kept her from backing down. Go ahead and blow yourself up if that's what you want, she said. But you'll die with nothing. Your death will mean nothing. But not mine. My death will avenge Kanan's. Silence fell outside the laboratory gates. Stanley and Tatano stood frozen, their guns still trained on Alphard. Both men were ready to pull the trigger at the slightest provocation. Just how long had they been there, staring one another down? The passage of time seemed to slow, seconds drawn into hours. Osawa swallowed audibly. Finally, Alphard tossed her gun onto the pavement and held up both hands in surrender. Stanley wasted no time springing forward to secure her. He gave her a thorough pat-down from behind. He removed a small device that looked like a detonator from one of her pockets. On your knees! Alphard did as she was told. Good. Now hands behind your head. Try and think funny and I will shoot. Without a word, Alphard placed her hands on the back of her head, fingers laced together. What are you playing at? Stanley growled disdainfully. Finally realized you can only push your luck so far? She responded with a faint snicker. It's not my policy to resist when things are hopeless. Her tone was detached, her intentions unreadable. Good. That'll make this easy. Stanley kept the barrel of his gun pointed at Alphard's head. This is for my brother. The words hung in his throat, unspoken. The surge of emotion coursed through him. Just a tiny bit more pressure from his index finger, and he could put a bullet right through Alphard's head. His long journey would finally reach its conclusion. But although he had wished for this moment more than anything, his finger did not move. If he pulled the trigger now, would that truly be the end? His mind reeled at the implications. Tatano watched Stanley closely, eventually letting out a tiny sigh of relief. They were in this together, after all. Now they just needed to be careful not to let down their guard. He kept one eye on Alphard as he went to pick up the gun she'd discarded. But he was too late. The gun was gone. Holy shit! Um, this is for Kanan. Maria had lunged forward, snatching up the gun. Maria, no, Osawa cried. What are you thinking? She ignored her father, taking aim at Alphard's forehead. Kanan's dead, and you're gonna pay. Smoldering rage she'd fought to hold back blazed up with renewed fury. Maria, Stanley said calmly, put down the gun. He had nothing but words to stop her. There was no telling what Alphard might do if he took his gun off her. What will this accomplish? He asked, keeping his tone as level as possible. Maria's face remained awash with anger. Maria, her father pleaded, please don't do this. Tadano took a step forward. Go on, hand me the gun, he said. Stay back! Maria's arm trembled as she aimed the gun. Everyone stood frozen, not even daring to breathe. The slightest wrong move might bring disaster. The silence roared. I don't care, Alphard sneered. If you want to shoot, then shoot. You do want to avenge Kanan, don't you? Yes. Yes, I do. Maria tightened her grip on the gun. Memories of her friend drifted through her mind. To Maria, born into peace, meeting Kanan had been like touching a world beyond her own. A far more complicated world. Kanan had blood on her hands from the time she was a little girl. A walking contradiction of cruelty and childishness. And yet, she had lived her life according to her own unshakable beliefs. Meeting her had made Maria think hard about her own identity. What did it mean to be Japanese? No, that wasn't the question. What did it mean to be Maria Osawa? That was the crux of it all. They had been able to find common ground, despite different ideals, because both possessed an unshakable sense of self. The tense equilibrium came crashing down as Maria let out a shout. This is for Kanan! Wow, she actually shot. Holy shit. She pulled the trigger, but her shot went wide, shattering the window of a nearby car. The sudden gunshot caught Stanley off guard. Ah, fuck. Alphard didn't miss her opening. She rolled swiftly across the pavement, drawing the small pistol she'd hidden in an ankle holster. I thought you patted her down! Maria hastily tried to aim for a second shot. Oh my god! What is happening? Dad? Osawa collapsed at Maria's feet. Dad! Her father went limp. Stanley dived at Alphard. He grabbed hold of her right wrist, the one clutching the gun, and slammed her head down hard against the pavement. She made no attempt to resist. In a moment he had subdued her. Maria, you're not hurt, are you? Osawa croaked feebly as his daughter gathered him up in her arms. I'm fine. But Dad, you're... Blood was gushing through Osawa's shirt. Maria pressed her hand against the wound, but the bleeding wouldn't stop. Look, just hurry. Get here as fast as you can. Tadano was on his cell phone calling for an ambulance. I know there's a traffic jam. Just figure something out. Please. His voice was ragged with desperation. Or ragged, rather. Dad! Hang in there. Large tears streamed from Maria's eyes. So this is what it's like. Osawa lay with his head in his daughter's lap, struggling to rasp out his words. My body just reacted before I had any time to think. I finally understand what a virus must feel like. His eyes were hollow. Never told you and had told me, did I? About what started my fascination with virus research. Dad, try not to talk right now. Maria squeezed her father's hand. Almost imperceptibly, he squeezed back. probably isn't a very interesting story, he said, but I'd like for you both to hear it anyway. I know, and we will. After this, I promise we will. Maria's words brought a contented smile to Osawa's face. I'm glad. So glad. It's alright, just don't talk right now. This time, at least, I was there for you. Osawa slowly shut his eyes. Dad? Maria said. Her father didn't answer. Dad, don't die. You can't die. The sound of ambulance sirens wailed in the distance. Maria clutched her father's hand, trying to make her grip firm and reassuring. Just as he had been there for her... just as his had been for her back inside the laboratory. Please, don't die. She repeated the words inwardly over and over and over. A black car of foreign make arrived at the laboratory and pulled up to the curb. Stanley's superior, Gordon, emerged from the back. A few of his men followed and promptly placed Alphard in handcuffs. Well done, Gordon said. Stanley gave him a slight nod. I'll be taking Alphard back to headquarters. You can finish up here. Understood, sir. Gordon shoved Alphard into the back seat and slid in alongside her, and the car drove off. Who was that just now? Tatano asked Stanley. My boss. Sorry, but we'll be taking Alphard into custody. You will, huh? Tatano frowned, but decided not to press the point. Yeah, you have no right to be being upset about anything, Tatano. Your ass needs to be in prison. The ambulance arrived at last, and Osawa was loaded inside. Maria remained at his side, still weeping, still softly calling out to him. He could sense her there, though her voice sounded awfully far away. Is this the end, then? He was vaguely aware that he was dying, but he was not afraid. At the far end of a hazy tunnel, he could still see Maria. My, she had grown. She had grown so very much. If he were an organism that multiplied by dividing itself, he would die knowing that he had left his best selves behind. He had only one wish now. That Maria and Hitomi would go on to lead happy lives. His vision was growing steadily more dim. Tiny motes of light flickered and wavered faintly before his eyes. It looked a lot like the very first time he had ever peered through a microscope. And that was enough for him. Unexpectedly, Maria's cell phone rang in Stanley's pocket. He meant to give it back to her, but the ambulance had already departed. The phone continued to ring for some time, but eventually fell into a death-like silence. Oh, 2. So it's after midnight. Oh no, that's the timer on the... Oh shit. Also, give me a moment here. Okay. Achi held his breath. He could no longer feel the seconds ticking by. The numbers on the display were changing more and more slowly. But still, he watched in fear. 2. It was impossible not to fixate on the countdown. 2. 2. 2. Kano and Achi continued to stare at the timer. 2. It had stopped. The timer had actually stopped. We did it! Achi dropped to his knees with a cry of triumph. The rest of the Shibuya Scramble burst into cheers. You are one reckless guy, you know that? Kano held out his hand. Or held his hand out. Same difference. Achi grinned up at him. That makes two of us. The two clasped hands firmly, their handshake conveying more than any words could have. Achi! Oh, that was Susumu. Okay. Susumu came rushing over. You did it, man! I knew you could do it! The two bumped fists. Oh, it wasn't just for me, Achi said. Could never have done without you guys' help. Susumu smiled bashfully. Hey, Susumu. Take care of SOS for me. You got it. Susumu looked him squarely in the eye. Achi gave a little nod, and the two solemnly bumped fists again. Suddenly there was a blinding flash. Achi spun around to see Chiaki standing there, beaming happily, her digital camera ready for another shot. Hey everyone! Gather up! Norikawa called out to Achi and his pals. You guys are the heroes of Shibuya. Photo time, everyone! Chiaki said. Get ready! The young men struck a pose together. Wait, her too! Norikawa ushered Hitomi over to stand with Achi. Hitomi? Achi stared at her shyly. It was all thanks to Hitomi that he'd been able to do what he had done. Keeping Shibuya safe. Keeping his promise to Suzune. Hitomi had been his inspiration for it all. There were so many things he wanted to say, but he couldn't get the right words out. Achi, Hitomi's cheeks were damp with tears. Hey now, little lady, Norikawa called. No crying now. Come on, show us a smile. He struck a goofy pose beside Chiaki. Can we see the pose? Aww. At last, the smile returned to Hitomi's face. It really is the best. Hitomi looked up at Achi in confusion. Your smile, he said. It's the best. I don't care what anyone else says. He spoke so earnestly that Hitomi couldn't help but smile even more. Okay, here we go, people. Get your best faces on. Oh, alright, well, whatever. I thought that was Chiaki talking. Who cares? At Norikawa's signal, everyone let out a joyous victory cry. Oh my god. This is the most hood-ass picture I've ever seen in my life. And no Kano there. Alright. Come on, guys, Susumu shouted. Let's lift Achi up where everyone else can see him. The members of SOS let out another roar. Huh? No, you don't gotta do that, guys. Hey, cut it out! But Achi had already been swallowed by the enthusiastic throng. Heave ho! Heave ho! Heave ho! There in the middle of the scramble, Achi was being hailed as a hero. Kano looked on with a satisfied smile. What they had achieved together was nothing less than a miracle. It had taken a lot of luck and more than a few coincidences for them to stop the bomb. Coincidences? Kano muttered to himself. No, that wasn't right. This was something different altogether. Fate, that's what it was. And not just one person's fate. The destinies of several people had collided, gathering momentum until coincidence became inevitability, and Shibuya was saved. The raucous crowd tossed Achi high into the air again and again. As a plainclothes detective, Kano would probably never be showered with adulation quite like that. Well, that was alright. The detective's duty was to ensure the safety of the people. He didn't put his life on the line so that he could be a hero. Just seeing all those smiles, that was good enough for him. Kano only needed the approval of one person, and that was Rumi. Rumi, hope she managed to get out of Shibuya okay. Suddenly worried, Kano pulled out his cell phone. There was a whole bunch of things he wanted to tell her. He couldn't share the whole story, police rules wouldn't allow it, but he wanted to let her know as much as he could. That the kidnapping case had been resolved safely, for instance. That he learned about the tortured past of the detective he so admired. His partner was going to pull through. that he'd managed to finally talk to her father. That he'd put his life on the line to save Shibuya from danger. Rumi would listen quietly to the very end, and then Kano thought he knew just what she'd say. Short and sweet. In that gentle voice of hers. Good job. Well, that's the end. Jack Woodyard. Wait, I'm just paying attention to the names here. Gordon, Frank Stanley, Debbie Turner. Huh? Okay. Foreigners, Metal Motorcycle, Detectives. Alphard, Tiggy Williams. Who? That name sounds so familiar. Trying to see if she appears in other stuff. She seems like a pretty cool actress. But yeah, that's the game. Is Osawa dead? Yukihara's Cheery. I don't know why I just paid attention to that. I'm just trying to see. Yoruki is Karihama. Fuku. Might these be like actual celebrities over there? Like idols or something? Usually if somebody's going by one name, they're like big time. I don't know, like, I'm looking at this like I know any of these actors or actresses. Wait, there's an actual, like, idol over there called Aya Kamiki? Alright, then. So, yeah, that is 428 Shibuya Scramble, and holy shit, I was not expecting to, love this VN as much as I did. Like, wow. That was good. I hope Kajiwara is okay. Don't let him die. Oh, but he's gonna be so sad when he finds out about Osawa. Wait, is he gonna pull through? I mean, they kind of heavily implied that he dies on the way to the hospital. But at least, yeah. Wow, lyrics Aya Kamiki. So she is an actual idol. Okay. Oh, damn. But yeah, oh wait, does that mean I'm gonna have to mute this song? I'll check other credits to see if this gets content ID'd, but yeah, I might have to mute it. Aw. But yeah, like, damn, this was good. Like, really good. God, I hope Osawa didn't die, but he probably does. But there are apparently more, well, like alternate endings and whatnot, including a entire sub-story that I missed out on. And I'm kind of curious to see what that would have led to. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to be it for Shibuya Scramble on the channel. Though, I mean, it's not going to be an endless thing. I mean, of course, there's a end to it. But yeah, I'm going to try and get all of the remaining endings. I don't know how hard that's going to be. Due to the nature of how the game works with its shifting timelines, it doesn't seem to be, like, with lack of a better term, something similar to, say, 999. You can fast forward through stuff. Like with this, it's almost like I have to follow a path or make a certain choice to the point that it saves, and then I start doing stuff after that. Not to mention the fast forward text option on this game isn't the best. But I don't know, like, I still want to try to go for multiple endings here. And I did spoil myself, not on like what happens in each of the endings, but like unlock requirements. And apparently for one of them, I need to have 50 bad ends. I have 49. That's actually kind of hilarious. But yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed this. This was good, and hell, if there was ever to be a sequel... Well, I mean, granted, this game originally came out in 2007, but... Oh, no! I mean, the game came out in 2007, but this like remastered re-release is relatively new. Gordon and Alphard sat in the back seat as the car sped along the highway. Here. Gordon tossed the handcuff key onto the seat beside him. What happened down at the Scramble? Alphard asked, picking up the key and unlocking her cuffs. God damn it. Leland Palmer was arrested by the Japanese police, and the bomb in the attaché case was defused, apparently. Still, Palmer shouldn't pose a problem once we get him into CIA custody. I see. Much obliged. You really got yourself back into a corner, though, didn't you? Gordon said. Yeah. I was only able to accomplish half of what I intended. Half? Alphard produced a vial from her pocket. It was filled with red liquid. Is that Hitomi's blood? Gordon asked. Indeed. I managed to acquire the antiviral. But when? Gordon peered at her in bewilderment. When I blew up the minivan. Oh, fuck! She sure did. Oh, fuck. Oh, God, she was bleeding. God. In the dim light of the vehicle, Alphard's eyes shone darkly, like those of a wounded animal. Extracting the blood from Hitomi while she was unconscious had been a simple matter. Saving the girl's life had been more than just a means of ensuring her trust. Alphard had been looking for the right moment to carry out the extraction. Total secrecy was essential. If it became public knowledge that the drug existed, and that some of it had been stolen, the value of the UA virus would plummet. Our primary objective here was to destroy the research facility. Still, getting our hands on the antivirus was better than nothing. Well done as always, Alphard. Gordon's hard expression softened, but Alphard was in no mood to return his smile. If Maria Osawa had remained inside the facility, her plan would have succeeded. Everything else up until that point had gone off without a hitch. The one thing Alphard hadn't anticipated was Maria bringing the bomb outside. She had injected Maria with a knockout drug back at Indo Electronics that should have kept her from moving around for a while, even after she'd regained consciousness. And in any case, she wouldn't have expected the girl to just march into the midst of an armed standoff. She had been certain that Maria would never leave the lab. She had misjudged how strong the girl's feelings for Kanan were. Maria's body had been put into a state of torpor. There were a bunch of people pointing guns at each other, and still she had been undeterred. Alphard's plan had hinged on Maria's relationship with Kanan. And ironically, that same relationship had made the plan fall apart. It was true that she'd accomplished half of her goals, but Alphard still couldn't shake her sense of failure. She softly bit her lip as she gazed out through the car window. The bright windows of a few buildings shone out in the midst of the otherwise darkened city. A group of tiny lights that refused to be washed out by the darkness. That is some bullshit! Oh, but dang, so Tatano was right to sort of be judgy there. But Stanley didn't say anything. Shit, maybe that is sequel bait. I don't know. But then again, there are other endings. And yeah, and they say the end. Bonus content added to the title screen. Previews added to bonus content. Pop quiz added to bonus content. I'll go more in depth into the pop quiz and stuff next time. Because like I said, we ain't done here. That's it for the main story. I'm legit. God damn it, man. Like, Alright. There's more endings. Pop quiz. The previews. Those previews were sick. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing the pop quiz next time. Man, that... Well then, I was not expecting that. Also, what happens if I load the game now? Oh, I thought I had 49 bad ends. It's 41. I was just at 49 hours. Okay. My bad. Because, like, if in this case, would I be able to load up previous things? And then just, like, would it save my main progress? I mean, this timeline thing is going to make it very easy, but I wish it would sort of show, like, all the branching paths so that I seemingly wouldn't have to play to a certain point along some path to get everything back online, or back in line, but I don't know. Dang, now I'm just more curious. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna... Next time we're gonna look into more stuff. At the very least, we're gonna go down the sub-story I know I missed. Like, I know the exact point where that branches off, so we can do that next time, along with the pop quiz. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. Have a great day. See you next time for some more, well, the first bonus part of Let's Play 428 Shibuya Scramble. Goodbye. Oh my god, that fucking ending. So then it's gonna get out that she's still alive. Oh my god. Unless Gordon then play it off like, oh, she put the slip on us, she had a bomb and it blew up our car, and Osawa died for nothing. Like, oh man, okay, alright. Goodbye.